Hello, Tim. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. What you been up to this morning then?
Wrestling and strength conditioning just got done.
Oh, so you've had your training then?
Yeah, it's gonna be a nice little evening of doing nothing.
Good stuff. Yeah, like I said, thanks for joining me. And obviously, I wanted to speak to you because you've got this fight lined up, and it wasn't really a fight that I guess maybe you expected it, maybe you didn't, because it was somewhat short notice. Given that it's in Australia as well, it is a bit more short notice than usual. I mean, was it quite unexpected where they called you up and asked you to replace Jesse Taylor?
Sean had told my coach that they were working on something. It had been a few weeks. I talked to Dana. They told me to be ready. I didn't know if I was fighting in December or really know when the fight was going to pop up, but they got me on the Australia card, and I thought that was pretty good timing.
Okay, good stuff. So obviously, like I said, it's not a normal fight. It's halfway across the world in Sydney. I think it's the first time you're fighting. Yeah, the first time obviously you're fighting in Australia. It's not like the
Yeah.
altitude's a big factor, but given like the difference in time zones, how long are you in advance? Are you heading like out there?
I'll be out there 5 days, so 5 days should be enough time. I'm trying to time we lose a day, so when we leave here on a Monday at 8:50 and we arrive Wednesday morning, so I'm trying to get my weight cut timed on that. Switching some stuff up on taking instead of my rest day being on Sunday, I added some little activities on Sunday. So yeah, that is a concern that we've already kind of started to plan for. And another thing that I'm happy about is he's not just sitting on the couch over there waiting for me to get to him. He has to do the same type of traveling. So I'm comfortable with being on the road, and then the time frame I have to kind of settle in over there.
Exactly like you said. I think Belal Muhammad is in New York, so you've both got the same travel kind of, so to speak. You one thing you mentioned just there was weight cutting, and obviously it's a big talking topic at the moment, and loads of talks about it, like how to combat it. You know, is it new weight classes like 165? I mean, I think you fought I believe you fought at lightweight early in your career, and
Right.
I was just going to ask you what are your thoughts on it. Like, what would you do? Do you just think there'll always be extreme weight cutting no matter what?
I think it's something that's been taught to wrestlers and everything. Is you have to cut weight, or to get some type of advantage. So you have big guys cutting a lot of weight is why other guys want to cut weight. I've always kind of would kind of hope for a few more extra weight classes. When I was cutting 155, I was walking around about 180. And then I was there for about 4 years or so, and then my weight started. By the time I started fighting with the UFC, my weight started creeping up a little higher. And it was just for me being in the gym and got in the weight room that I needed, things like that. So I started getting up about 195. I think I started about 200 for this weight cut or whatever. But I got tied in with the Performance Institute there in Vegas with Clint Wattenberger or Wittenberger, I think is his
Yeah,
last name.
yeah.
So we're still relatively new together, but the dude's been really informational. Jeff Nowitzki got me tied up with him and just showing me new ways to feel good and be happy with cutting weight and all that. So I think the weight classes are going to kind of have to happen eventually because some people carry their weight differently. But till then, we're going to keep seeing these crazy weight cuts. And even then, with the new weight classes, you're going to see guys trying to take advantage of those weight classes too. So I think that stuff's set in stone, and it's going to come down to commissions like California have done, stepping in and take responsibility over the fighter's health and not just the fighter.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, I mean, if you put like a 165 in, you'll probably get 205 trying to make that ridiculous cut down. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you can't win at the end of the day, like you said, but because obviously you're a big, I mean, you said you used to fight at lightweight, even at welterweight, you're a big welterweight, you're 6'2". And I just wondered, like, is there any story, like, in your career so far that's just been, like, a really bad weight cut or something that you, like, it plays on your mind, you'd never want to go through that again?
Yeah, when I fought Danny Castillo, the fight was on like 10 days' notice. I had a guy representing me at that time and representing my team that wasn't looking after our best interest, and he was just kind of pitching my name out, just like, oh, hey, if you got any scraps, got this guy Tim Means, like that type of stuff. And fights were popping up really last minute, 10 days' notice, to where I really didn't get to perform well because I was running on fumes. The weight cut was the hardest part of the fight. Things I wish I could get back, but I had set my mind to the fact that I could do it. I have a hard time telling myself I can't do something, you know, and wasn't in my best interest, and I should have probably thought that out. But it brought my team together, my coaches together. We've gotten on the same page where we communicate better. We've cut the fat, if you will, on some of the people that were around, and just got a lot better with communication with each other. And when I moved up to 70, I could just tell the difference. I wasn't running on fumes no more. I could recover better. Just injuries in the gym. I wasn't facing just like little like weird things, like twisting your ankles and just weird things. I got more frail when I was cutting a lot of weight like that. So moving up has been awesome. I wish I would have just started getting in the weight room and doing things earlier in my career rather than making those crazy weight cuts. But I learned things the hard way. So
yeah,
that's what I gotta do.
It's interesting you spoke about it because it was the fight with Danny Castillo, and obviously that was the fight before you got cut from the UFC. And like you said, you had that bad weight cut that things. I mean, people weren't doing your like best interest, so to speak. So that must have made it extremely frustrating, given that that was the fight that, I mean, you didn't perform the way you wanted to because of reasons outside, you know, like your hands. It must have made it all that more annoying when they cut you after that fight.
You know, I talked to Joe, and he talked to my coach Tom, and they were going to let me move up in weight, but I would have sat on the shelf for like 6 months. He gave me an option to go fight Pete Spratt in Legacy. Said that if I did well at 170, they'd bring me back right away. You know, I did 2 fights in Legacy, kind of back to back, and Joe did exactly what he said. You know, he's seen how I would perform at the weight. They brought me back on a last-minute fight against Neil Magny. You know, just kind of getting everything to fall in place is kind of what I've been doing in my career. And some things went for me. I learned a lot from these losses, though, and you know, speaking up and taking up for myself and saying no to things. Some things that had to play out that way, and I've learned a lot over these years just about myself and the people I have in my corner, my coaching staff that I've been with since I was 17 years old. So I'm happy. I'm happy where the puzzle pieces are starting to fall into place, and it's getting better and better each time out instead of a struggle each time.
Yeah, good. So like you mentioned, Joe, though, obviously Joe Silva, and it's just interesting to get your thoughts on, because obviously it was a while ago now that the UFC kind of changed all the stuff around. We've got the new matchmakers in. I mean, the new management, WWE. I was wondering your thoughts on, because some of the people were criticizing WWE like they don't have the knowledge that the old owners Zuffa used to have. I just want to get your thoughts on this, if that is true, or do you feel that way or not?
You know, I don't know enough about the guys. I'm watching these shows because I am a fight fan. I'm watching these shows, and these free shows are just delivering, man. They're just there's more packed cards than not, and all the fights are living up. Even if you're not seeing the big names on the shows, styles make matchups, and you know, I really wish the media would get behind talking about some of these other fighters and not just getting on certain bandwagons. You know, there's a few that are stars, and that's because, you know, I think me and Ariel Lawani went back and forth about, you know, it's up to the UFC to promote the fighter and that stuff, but you know, the media needs to speak up, and you know, there's a whole bunch of people on these rosters, and that's the media's job. You know, speak about some other people. Don't speak about only the hot topics. Help start some fires. You know, and I'm happy if I have a disagreement or whatever. You know, I have Dana White's number on hand. I hit him up. He answered me back right away. Anybody with the UFC I can contact, they have an answer or question back to me, or if I have a question, they have an answer back to me right away. So. I'm happy where I'm at. And the Reebok deal for me, man, there were sponsors. I'd have 9 sponsors on my gear. It would take 6 months to get paid by a sponsor, or you know, 8 out of those 9 didn't pay me at all. You know, so when Reebok came on board, they were finding me. They were wiring my money to me, and I'm in the 3rd pay tier with those guys. You know, with 15,000 and you know, free gear and stuff, and I don't have to go search or hoe myself out for sponsorships. They find me to pay me. And they go out of their way to get the funds to me, and I'm just I'm happy with it. If I have a disagreement, my contractor didn't like the numbers, we communicate and try to get better. I can sit here and say, you know, we talk about these unions, these things that are going on. There's just some weird things. If you get cut from the UFC, does the union still protect you? You know what I mean? You see guys in these unions that they're fighting, and the guys at the very top, they're all fighting about who's in control of it, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me right now. I think things can get better, but where I'm at right now, I've communicated and worked our way into this deal, and I didn't have good sponsors back to that note and stuff. You know, I didn't have those things that, you know, it's just been a good path for me right now with the UFC, and I'm happy with what they've done for me.
That's interesting to hear because we hear so many people slating the Reebok deal, and like you said, you had the old sponsors, which I mean there are sponsors that no one had heard of and they would be on shorts and stuff like that, and like you said, you had dodgy payments with them. People slate the Reebok deal, but it's interesting to hear. Would you say it's benefited you?
It really has, man. I don't. They say they're going to pay me, and in 10 days they're wire transferring money to me. They're sending those wire transfers here. I don't have to go out of my way and beg to get paid and fill out invoices and do all this stuff. It took Hayabusa crap. It took them a year to get me headgear and gloves, man, and no money. And I was just never happy with those deals in the earlier sponsorship stuff. Maybe the sponsorships were better before that, but for my time frame and, coming up the way I did, sponsors were just always hard to get. I had local sponsors take care of me, which were like $100 here, $100 there. Local companies here from the small town and people that supported me that way. But as of the bigger sponsorships deals coming in, Reebok has been the only one that's been consistent.
Yes, that's good to hear. Actually, I mean, it's good to hear that someone else's side of you that it's actually helped them. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Right. One thing that's interesting is a fighter who his name's Lyman Good. I don't know if you've probably seen it. Basically, he got he got popped by USADA. I think it was around last year, the UFC 205 card, and just recently he's just filed a lawsuit against the supplement company. And obviously, I mean, you can see where I'm coming with this. Given the amount of fighters that are being popped and claiming the tainted supplement excuse, I mean, it's not an excuse because we see it happen all the time here. Your situation, sorry. And do you just do you just avoid the use of them nowadays, given your unfortunate experience with them?
I did, yes, and I kind of changed my mind a little bit on that. We have a lawsuit filed as well. We filed as soon as I got out of USADA, as soon as we found out where all that stuff came from, and I got my suspension. My lawyer, Jacob Howard, filed a lawsuit immediately. So that's still in the progress. It's a whole long, drawn-out thing where, it's two different companies. One actually manufactures it. It's a whole big old mess, so I'm letting our attorney handle that. But I feel for Lyman, you know what I mean? You're not trying to find ways to cheat. You ingest this product and then it freaks you out with everything you're taking in the house, that nothing meets labels after they test it. Nothing meets what it says on the nutritional label. Nothing did. And it's not so much all manufacturers, it's just you need to find a reputable manufacturer. And like I said, I got tired with Jeff Nowitzki. He asked me immediately if I had taken Ostrin. Man, I didn't hear about that stuff until I got suspended, and I opened that letter 2 weeks out of my main event. It was a real kick in the balls. So, I feel for these guys. It's a very real thing. They sent me a new product called UCAN that I've been taking, and I really like it. It's a post-workout carbs and protein. Clint, my nutritionist, had a whole bunch of success with it. Jeff Nowitzki really recommended it, but there's still a risk factor with taking any supplement. You're responsible for what you put into your body. Just this is third-party tested. So right now I'm liking the product. Another product I tried was Advocare because you can look them on the website. Last time it was tested in a facility for any banned substances. Informed Choice, I think, is what that website is. So a post-workout from Advocare that I've really liked, but man, my men's vitamin, my proteins, nothing met what it was on the label. And it was just, I'd worked with that company for 8 years, been drug tested before, and it just came out of left field, man. And, I feel for anybody. You see these, when I was going through my thing, Jeff Nowitzki was sending me all these videos to watch, these different people in their own cases, like Olympians from years ago. And they proved that their supplement did have crap in it. It bugs me to hear this tainted supplement thing. It sounds weird, makes you think of a taint,
Yeah.
But these people proved that the crap was in their supplement, that the manufacturer did deliberately put it in there, and they were still suspended 4 years. And that's just alarming that these people are affecting these individuals' lives, and all they have to do, the manufacturers have to do, is close down shop and open up under another LLC, and then pay their payments to get by or whatever, and those people need to be dealt with action. And I'm not looking to get no money out of my deal. I'm looking to be able to throw the product on the table, which is on the high risk list now on the USADA website. But I want to absolutely bankrupt that company and shut them down. I hope hopefully permanently. I don't know if there's any cash money coming out of it or whatever, but I want to shut that company down and put them on blast when I'm given the opportunity.
Yeah, because I was reading through it the other day, the case again, like you said, it was Austrian. I remember I believe you sent back you sent like the tub to them, and then it came through, and then you sent another one, and it didn't come through, and obviously, like you said, that was gutting news. But I mean, I was just wondering, you said you filed a lawsuit. Was it against the company? Can you name that company, or for like the legal reasons, can you not? And when do you expect that to be like resolved, the case?
Legal reasons, I can't throw their name out until we've handled everything in the court side of it. You know, everything's put pen to paper and all that. As of the supplement, I sent it in. I had an empty bottle, and then I had it also, because I would buy my products in twos. I had another bottle that was brand new cellophane, safety label, everything's still on it. That was the same exact lot number. They tested that one from my empty bottle, found that the product was in every pill in the bottle, and then they went and found. Jeff Nowitzki noticed that the company had pulled the product off the shelves within days of my suspension being announced. And we had text messages from the guy I was working with that was warning the manufacturer about what was going on, and they pulled their product off the shelves, and they had to like really dig. The USADA detectives really had to dig to find that product. They found a different lot number in a shop, like a little side shop down in Florida, but they had completely pulled that product off the shelves, which was a big red flag for myself and for Jeff Nowitzki, that they were in fact hiding something. And there was just a whole bunch of evidence that played up that really led into when they tested the product. They found it in the product, and we knew they were going to, the way how shady the guy I was working with, who was a personal friend, and then the manufacturer got. They completely tucked tail and tried to hide and run and jerk that product off the shelves and didn't want it to be tested.
Yeah, so it was a crazy scenario when it all came out, and like you said, it was a close friend. You never even think it at all, would you? But I mean, away from that side of things now, I'd like to. I mean, you're 34 next year, and obviously you've got this fight with Belal, and then I want to know. I mean, do you think how many years do you have left in you, and do you think you can make another run for that welterweight title or not?
I think I'm right there, man. I don't think I've peaked or primed just yet. I'm getting my wrestling defense down and learning every day in the gym. Every day I go in, I'm learning something new. So until I think that fire burns out where I don't want to compete, I'm going to keep doing it. But I'm thinking 38's right around the corner. We'll see where I'm at that point in my life. But right now, man, I get to go to Australia for the first time, get to a fist fight, you know, get paid, meet some cool ass people, and then come home, man. And it's just cool ass life, man. It's just, we have to put in this hard ass training. I wish we'd all show up out of shape and just get into a fight.
Yeah.
Barely like that, big old bellies.
Yeah.
But now we got to put in some crazy work, and I just couldn't be more grateful, man. I got a good family that supports what I do. Got a hardworking wife that does the same stuff that I do, so we have those understandings, what's going on. Just ready to get into a fist fight.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So this is my last question, and obviously we spoke about this fight. You have it. I mean, all you're focused on, there's nothing else. But like we everyone knows, the fight that we wanted to see, and it could still happen, is he actually unfortunately lost recently, is Donald Cerrone. It's a dream matchup, and obviously you've got all the focus on this, but given you were supposed to fight each other last year, and given your gyms are right next to each other, is this a fight you still have your eye on, like maybe potentially after this win?
It's something they know I wanted that fight. Everyone knows I want that fight. I've asked him a few times. He got kind of hurt. Whenever Robbie Lawler fell out, I hit him up on Twitter after I told Dana, said Dana the thing with saying, hey, just hit me up if you need somebody for Donald or whatever. Dana said he loved it. I never heard nothing about it, but I hit up Donald on Twitter just saying, hey, let's finish our business that we signed to. He kind of got offended or whatever and shot back that, I needed to stop challenging him on Twitter and hit up the boss, which I already had. But, I've asked him a couple times. They haven't jumped on board, so I'm not really worried about him. I want to beat the guy that beat him, Till. Or, there's this guy, Mike Perry, running around. He's a fighter, tough guy, but people are forgetting to use my name in these exciting fights, and I'm going to show them why they need to keep my name in that category whenever I see Belal in Australia.
Tim, thanks a lot for the time. I really appreciate it. Hopefully speak again in the future, and I wish you all the best in your upcoming fight.
Oh yeah, man. Thank you for the talk.